What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and for this video I wanted to share my thoughts with you guys on the latest sneak peek that we just got for the upcoming update. But before I get into that, I want to address something really quickly. In the last video I did on the update, I told you guys that it's confirmed we're getting a new epic quest for Deadpool, and I saw some of the newer players freaking out saying, oh my goodness, I don't have Wolverine completed yet. Are they going to be removing the Rise of the X-Men because Deadpool edited his face over Wolverine? And some of the newer players are thinking that means the Rise of the X-Men epic quest is getting removed from the game. That is not happening, okay? I cannot stress that enough. There is no way that Netmarble could remove the Rise of the X-Men without putting another way in the game to get Wolverine, Jean Grey, and the other characters. And I don't see them ever doing that. So you don't have to worry if you're new. You don't have to be in a panic. The Rise of the X-Men will still be here, similar to how we got Rise of the X-Men after we got Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange did not go anywhere. Okay, that being said, boys, we have confirmation that we are indeed getting Psylocke. And this, boys, is juicy. Guys. Now, I gotta admit, from the looks of this picture, Psylocke doesn't look as thick as I like him, but it's Psylocke, baby. So you know your boy is hella happy. Love freaking Psylocke. And I know I'm not the only one. I know for a lot of you guys, this is probably the best sneak peek so far, because ever since I started playing this game, she's been one of those characters that you see post on the forum consistently of people begging and pleading for her to come to this game. And it seems the time is here, guys. So like I've been telling y'all, man, you better get your wallets ready, because not all of this is gonna be for free. As much as I want to sit here and tell you guys that all of this is gonna be for free, when you're getting fan favorites like Deadpool, Strife, and Psylocke in an update, you gotta expect some kind of paywall or some kind of return, okay? They're running a business. But anyways, guys, I'm hella hyped. I cannot wait to see how Psylocke plays in this game. Now, a lot of you guys may not know who Psylocke is, but the character has been around for decades. I believe at this point around 40 years, guys. And I believe the first time I ever saw Psylocke, she was actually in, I believe, Captain Britain, because she's actually the sister of Captain Britain. And if I remember correctly, she was actually at that point just a little girl, I believe around a teenager, and she didn't even have her powers yet. I believe her brother was actually getting mind controlled by this villain who had, I believe, psychic abilities and mind control, and he actually took over Captain Britain's mind, and he was actually using Captain Britain to attack Psylocke and his older brother. And Psylocke's ability actually awakened in that fight, and later on they actually teamed up to take down Dr. Sign. And I believe after a short run of her just being her brother's sidekick, she was actually discovered by Strike. And Strike is basically Britain's version of SHIELD, and I believe the acronym actually stands for Special Task Reserve for International Key Emergencies, something like that. It's been a really long time since I've seen Strike in anything, but I believe she was actually discovered by them, and she was working for Strike. And at one point she went up against a villain called, I believe his name was Slaymaster. It's a really lame name, but what he did actually is kind of how Psylocke got her name. So I believe it was in Captain Britain volume, I believe it was volume 2, issue number 12 or 13. It's been so long since I've read anything with Psylocke in it, but I believe it was volume 2 of Captain Britain, I keep saying chapter, but issue number 12 or 13. And Psylocke actually lost both her eyes against Slaymaster, and that actually triggered something pretty epic. So after she lost both her eyes, she actually started to use her psychic powers to see, and while she was in Switzerland, I believe, she actually got abducted by a villain, an interdimensional villain called Mojo. And what he did is actually pretty freaking insane but cool at the same time. So basically, Mojo kidnapped her, right? Brainwashed her, gave her these cybernetic eyes, and gave her the code name Psylocke. And he was actually using her to fight in this gladiator arena with other mutants on his TV show called Wild Ways. And that's kind of how Psylocke got her name. And at that point in time, I believe Psylocke didn't even know how to fight properly. The only powers she had that I can remember at the very least was telepathy, mind control, and astral projection. And I believe she could also talk to people mentally for very long distances. But she was nowhere close to being the badass ninja chick that we know and love right now. That didn't happen until after Psylocke died. Okay, I believe she actually got killed by this badass dude. I believe his name was Adversary, because he actually wiped the floor with her, seriously, because like I said, she didn't know how to fight properly. She was just only relying on her like telepathy, mind control, and that kind of stuff. And he kicked her ass so bad, killed her, and then she was actually revived. She was brought back as a reboot, and I believe it was called the Seas Perilous, that actually brought back a whole bunch of mutants, the likes of Psylocke and Colossus. And when she came back, I believe she didn't even have any memories, and she was found by the Hand. And if I'm remembering this correctly, I think what the Hand did with Psylocke was actually bring her to their leader, a dude at that point in time by the name of Matsuho. And at that point in time, I believe that guy had a wife who was brain dead and was living in a test tube. And knowing about Psylocke's abilities, he actually tried to swap her mind into his dead wife, right? Well, I guess she's not dead, but she's brain dead. So she's basically dead and living in a tube, right? But what actually ended up happening was Psylocke's mind and her powers got split in half, and his wife got half of Psylocke's power and half of her memories, I believe. Actually, I think she got all of Psylocke's memory, but Psylocke still herself could not remember who she was. So the wife of that guy, Matsuho, actually became, I believe, Lady Mandarin, and both Psylocke's were actually trained by the Hand. And that's how Psylocke actually became this badass ninja chick that we all know. And I believe soon after that, she started to tap into more of her psychic powers, and she got the trademark dagger. And that dagger is actually really, really important, because that's part of the reason why she remembered who she was. Because I believe later on in Uncanny X-Men, I believe it's Uncanny X-Men 270, she actually went up against Wolverine, and I believe she stabbed him with the dagger, and her psychic powers actually kicked in, and she started to remember who she was. And she realized that she wasn't an assassin, but in fact an X-Men. And she actually rejected the Hand and the role of Lady Mandarin. And soon after that, she actually returned to the X-Men, and I believe something major happened. I think she developed a love interest for Cyclops, and that spewed some beef between her and Jean Grey, and that turned into a full-scale battle, okay? And I believe later on, because it was getting really confusing to have two characters with the same power and the same name, one of them, I believe the double, actually ended up dying from the legacy virus, a virus that just kills off mutants. And as a result of that, the original Psylocke actually regained her full powers. Now, some of you guys may think that she's overhyped, but if at half strength, she could go toe-to-toe with a beast like Wolverine. That is a character that you should not be sleeping on. Seriously, boys. And in the House of M, which we all know was one of the greatest freaking Marvel moments, boys, Psylocke was actually one of the very few characters that was not affected by Wanda. When Wanda said no more mutants and she wiped out a large majority of the mutants' population, Psylocke was actually not affected by it. Her telepathic powers were actually so vast that her and a few other characters, the likes of Rachel Summers, who we all know is a badass telepath, were pulled into the Phoenix White Room and shielded from the effects of Wanda's chaos magic. And as a collective, they came together and forced Wanda to reverse the effects. and return everything to normal. So believe me when I say, boys, we're definitely going to be getting a badass character in the form of Psylocke. I see people saying that she's probably going to play pretty similar to Elektra, because Elektra is a ninja. She has dual wield size, and obviously Psylocke has those daggers. And I can definitely see where they're related in that regard. But keep in mind that Psylocke has mind control, astral projection, telepathy, and all kinds of other stuff that Elektra does not possess. But that is all I have to share for today, guys. Just wanted to share my thoughts with you guys. Let me know how are you guys feeling, man. I know some of you guys have been waiting for this moment, guys. And I gotta say, man, I'm hella hype, boys. If you can't tell, I am hella hype. But that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.